What's up, YouTube? It's B4Flex. If the camera quality upsets you, I apologize. I was using my actual camera, which records, with better camera quality, but it's overheating. It won't let me record with it. And I only have a limited time where I can record this video before my house will be too loud for me to record in. And I wanted to get this done ASAP because I've not posted in a while. So I wanted to explain to you guys why I'm not posted. So I'm using my laptop camera, which should be 1080p, so it should be okay. I'm using lighting, so I should be good. But I know a lot of you guys don't like my camera, so just want to apologize. Sorry if I'm not looking at the camera. I'm trying to, whatever. I've not been active for a while on YouTube. And the reason I've not been active for a while is because obviously not obviously, but my mental health has gone completely down the drain. I've been struggling a lot with, obviously, why am I saying obviously, but I've been struggling with depression and suicidal thoughts. I'm gonna be real. And that's why I've not been active. And the reason I've been dealing with this is because I've been affiliated with something. I'll try to explain. And I'm dealing with just a lot of difficulty dealing with it, right? Let me adjust the mic location a little bit. So that's why I'm not feeling so good. That's why I've not been feeling like posting. I've still actually produced content, so I still got videos, and I've still been working on my training plans. Made the 2.0 version of calisthenics, Cali Starter, Gravity Chamber. Yeah, that's it. Making them 12 weeks and making it a lot more valuable for the price. So I think I'll go into that on another video. But I've not been able to post because mentally, firstly, I'm not there right now. But secondly, let me make sure the mic is fully plugged in now, because earlier it wasn't. Yeah, secondly, hold on. Yeah, secondly, I've just not been prepared to deal with certain comments, especially being that my mind state right now isn't the best. So I'm going to explain what's been going on with an illustration of a cartoon, actually, that most of us have probably seen at some point in our lives. I've watched this cartoon a couple times, a couple times as a kid and a couple times as a teenager as well. I should probably watch it again because it's insanely relevant in certain points, actually. And I'm going to use an analogy about this cartoon. So this cartoon is Avatar: The Last Airbender. Now, just to explain the cartoon, basically, there is 4 nations. There is the Fire Nation, the Water Nation, the Air Nation, and the Earth Nation. And each nation have different cities and whatever. One day, the Fire Nation decides to colonize every other nation, doing terrible stuff, whatever. It is relevant, but not too relevant as in how bad the Fire Nation is. There's now a city in the Earth Nation called Ba Sing Se, and that's the only city to not be colonized. And I was affiliated with this city, essentially, in this analogy. So in Ba Sing Se, you have that's the city I'm talking about. So you have Ba Sing Se, and in this huge city you have the king, right? And beneath the king there's a guy, I forgot his name, but let's just call him the general or something. And then he has a whole task force which is called the Dai Li. There's different levels of the Dai Li and everything. Now the Dai Li use this thing called, actually, let me go into that later. Underneath the Dai Li, there are essentially their worker bees called Judy, right? So Judies, but they're all each individual is called a Judy, and I was one of them. Now the Judies, their job description is essentially, now this is going to be different from what it actually is in Ba Sing Se, but essentially it's recruiting new members from outside. So going outside of Ba Sing Se to recruit more people to come to Ba Sing Se, see how great Ba Sing Se is, and then to become Judies as well. free labor, right? So it's all for free. You're not getting paid for it. Judy isn't getting paid for it, and the people Judy recruit aren't getting paid for it, and none of that, right? So Judy basically works for free. In order to support the free labor, Judy has to work a job, right? Of course, on the side, alongside with this. But the most important is Ba Sing Se. This job is just, whatever. Now, like many Judys, I was actually recruited as a child, right? I was always kind of affiliated with it. Half of my family were in, my immediate family, half were out. And I was always affiliated with it, but I was actually groomed by not my family, but members who were outside of my family who were in Ba Sing Se. And I was, like, wow, don't you like this? I was sold truth. I was told that this was truth, right? Everything in it was true. And I was like, hey, don't you like this? Like, this is very cool. This is interesting, right? I didn't know I was being recruited. And they would show me propaganda and things like that through their material to help me become a member, right? Cool. I then became a unofficial Judy when I was, I think, 10 or 11, and I became but I already gave my free labor from the age of like 9. But from 11 I became a Judy, an unofficial Judy, and from 12 I became a Judy. Now, what I didn't know is when you become a Judy, you consent to the authority of the Daili, and in particular the general of the Daili, under the assumption that they are all guided by the king. I said, cool. So I'm 12 years old and I've already consented to this. Weird. Now, I'm always fed propaganda. So I'm told to not pursue higher education. Well, I'm encouraged not to pursue higher education outside of Ba Sing Se. I'm told it's worthless, that it's not necessary. You need to have this, that all that stuff is junk. This is, that's refuse. This is what's really important, the education with Ba Sing Se. Cool. Then I'm told that not to pursue a career in the outside world, but to pursue a payless career, a moneyless career, a career that doesn't pay you, or free labor in Ba Sing Se, which I believed was the truth, right? That's what we called it, the truth. And I said, cool, because I believed that the king, who was the mightiest king, right? I believe that's what he wanted me to do, so I did it, right? Actually against my parents' wishes, even my father's wishes. And whatever, I just thought, well, this is what the king wants me to do, cool. And I was told, my dad would tell me, like, you're being tricked, you're being brainwashed, and I would tell him, you don't understand, whatever. And then he would say, no, son, I'm serious. Like, you're wasting your time. This can be a hobby if you want, but don't give your life to it. And my dad didn't fully understand everything within it, but he was saying a lot of truths. And then I would go, oh, is this okay? You're making a valid point. You want me to pursue my education outside of this? Because I was told this is still education, right? Outside of this? Okay, cool. And I went and I spoke to lower ranked members of the Daili, and those members would tell me, don't listen to what your dad is saying. He's spouting nonsense. There's an evil man who's using your father to make you fall astray from, Ba Sing Se. I said, cool. All right, let me not listen to my dad. So, I would try to recruit my dad, because what part of my job was to recruit outside members. I don't know if I said that yet. Yeah, we were meant to recruit people from outside, I think I said that. Yeah, my job was to recruit outside members. So I would try to recruit my dad. He was once affiliated and realized it was bogus. But anyway, I went to recruit my dad, and by telling him, what he believes is bogus, what I believe is true. And my dad would be like, he'd listen, whatever. And then he'd say, can I now say something to prove that what you believe is bogus and what I believe is true? And then I was like, nope, I can't listen to you. I'm not allowed, right? Doesn't make any sense, right? Cool. And because I wasn't allowed, you were told that it was poison, whatever anyone who disagreed with the Daili, and in particular the general, had to say. Now, yet again, another part of being, another, I guess, I don't know. Another thing of being part of this is that you lose your personality. You're told that your personality is the old personality, but their personality is the new personality, and that's what you need to acquire. So you go to this place called Lake Laogai, where, you know, let's say you're still in your old personality. You go to this place called Lake Laogai, you go there, and then you are, you know, indoctrinated into their personality called the new personality. You're like, cool, that seems okay. It makes sense because they give you an explanation that makes sense to you. So I lost who I was. I lost my personality. All the things I thought was important, all the things I valued in life, like sports, not important anymore because they told me it wasn't important. They told me it was refuse. The most important thing was doing what the Dai Li wanted me to do, because that's what the king wanted. Whenever I was met with evidence to suggest otherwise, I was taken to Lake Laogai, brainwashed again, and then, you know, whatever. There was a lot of things I didn't agree with, but whatever, you know. There was a lot of past to this Ba Sing Se that I didn't agree with, even some racist things and some atrocious things. I wasn't allowed to know about this stuff. Cool. At one point, it was revealed to me some incriminating evidence about this city, right, and about the Dai Li. And I was like, yo, in particular the general, right, and said, yo, he has no authority. The king is not actually speaking through him. He's lying to you. All of this is a lie. And I was like, yo, is this true? And I was told, yeah, this is true. So what do? I go speak to a member of the Dai Li, because that's what you're encouraged to do. Because if you're told any information that makes you not trust in the Dai Li, then you should not listen to the information and seek help from the Dai Li. So I said, cool. I seek one of the members I trusted, actually one of the members that participated in me being groomed, you know, but I didn't know that at the time. So yeah, I speak to this trusted member of the Dai Li, and he simply tells me to go back to Lake Laogai. And I'm getting suspicious. I'm like, Lake Laogai? So he told me, forget your doubts, you know, go to Lake Laogai, because if anything makes you not trust in us, ignore it. You know, anything that makes you not trust in anyone outside of us, listen to it. Anything that makes you not trust in us, ignore it. At this point, I'm like, this doesn't add up. I think I'm being lied to. I keep digging. He told me to just push the doubts, not questions, not incriminating evidence, but doubts aside, and just keep serving the Dai Li, because this is what the king wants you to do. And I'm like, but I don't know. Does the king really want me to do it? Whatever. Like, now I'm 13 months in to this whole process of realizing that this isn't true, you know. And I saw outside, I was like, yo, there's an outside world that isn't what I've been told it is. It isn't evil. There's genuine people there. And actually, yeah, the general of the Dai Li is lying to me. He is controlling the narrative of the king. What I think the king is saying is actually just what the Dai Li is saying. So I think I'm obeying the king, but I'm obeying the general. And then I'm like, damn, this is foul. And I'm like, well, I need to get my life back on track, okay? Because, yeah, again, I didn't pursue education, didn't pursue a career, even in what I was good at, which was sport, because they heavily discourage being a professional athlete. They have so many propaganda videos whenever I go to Lake Laogai showing me exactly why you don't want to do that, but you want to give your life to the Dai Li. Dedicate your life to the Dai Li. So I'm like, cool, let me get my life back together. I decided to make a career venture that would get me kicked out. Not to get me kicked out, but because that's one of the ventures, probably the last thing I can do in pro sports. And I realize I'm going to get kicked out. Well, I say, well, I realize this isn't true anyway, so I'm just going to leave, because if I'm kicked out, the narrative is that I'm a bad, evil person. If I leave, people can at least tell, look, he knows this ain't true. So I'm like, cool, let me leave. I'm in the process of leaving. Because, yeah, again, every single piece of incriminating evidence that I've shown to any Dai Li member, they've just told me, I can't prove it, right, but just stay, because the king wants you to stay. It's really weird. They all have like the same personality. Yeah, again, they don't think for themselves. It's very weird. So cool. I'm like, cool, let me leave. I didn't know that leaving meant, and this is what's causing my mental health to be spiraling out of control. I hope you guys understood the analogy. It's very, very weird because I can't say it because I'm being censored. I don't have freedom of speech and all that. I didn't realize that leaving meant losing all my friends that were in this city. So all my friends that were in the city were to shun me and to ostracize themselves, or ostracize me, and to treat me like I was dead. If they saw me on the street, they should ignore me. If I called them for help, they should ignore me. The only time they could talk to me is once the Daili said I am welcome back and I'm reinstated in Ba Sing Se, which wasn't going to happen because I realized I was being lied to, whatever. So I was getting really depressed. I was like, man, this is foul. I didn't agree to these terms and conditions. And I speak to one of the members of Daili. I said, yo, this is foul. Like, I never knew this was one of the terms and conditions. He said, yes, you did. That was I mean, you might not have known, but you still signed the terms and conditions. So, at the end of the day, you should have read the contract. That's on you. I said, cool, but I was 12 when I signed the contract to join the Judy. This is foul. Like, I was 12. And then I'm told, well, you signed the contract. And I'm like, yeah, but I was 12. I was too young to sign any contract. Legally, I'm not allowed to sign any contract. I was told, you wanted it. It's actually crazy. I was told, you wanted it. You wanted it. You wanted to get baptized. I'm like, yeah, I was 12 years old. I also wanted to run like Sonic the Hedgehog, like dead ass. Dead ass wanted to run like Sonic the Hedgehog, like the speed of sound, and I believed it was possible. That's when I signed that contract. No empathy. Cool. At this point, I'm actually like, damn, because one thing I didn't explain too much earlier is you're told to not spend time with people in the outside world. If they're your friend under the assumption that they will eventually get recruited. So all my friends from school, I cut contact with. I had contact with a few of them, but not close contact. Because you weren't supposed to. You were told a chant, leave your schoolmates at the school gates. And I was like, cool. So you only have friends in Ba Sing Se, but the minute you choose to leave Ba Sing Se, or to leave the task force of the Daili, your friends are to treat you like you're dead, like you don't even exist. And I'm like, yo, this is foul. Like, what? And yet again, you signed these terms and conditions when you were 12 years old. It was all in the small print. You didn't know because you were 12. And it dawned on me that I was pimped. I'd been pimped. It dawned on me that I was groomed in my formative years. I was robbed of those years. I was told to not pursue my dreams, but to pursue the vision of the Daili. I'd continuously been doing free labor. I'd given my whole life to this task force. And upon saying this isn't for me, all my friends were to be ripped away from me. It was very painful when I realized this bleak reality, and I got depressed. That's why the feelings of suicidal kicked in. Alongside that, it's a lot of the teachings, the ostracization, the silencing, the waking up from indoctrination, realizing that you'd been lied. I believed that the world was going to end by the time I was 16, then by the time I was 18, then by the time I was 20. And then I was told that, when I was 18, I was told that, COVID-19 was a sign of that. And I was told not to pursue higher education because the world was going to end, right? So why would you pursue it? Give your life to the king. But I didn't realize that I was actually giving my life to the Daili. So I didn't pursue higher education even though I was smart. my GCSEs. I'll probably write it on the screen. Maybe I won't. I only revised seriously geography and chemistry. That was it. I was bright and I still got some decent grades, but I only actually revised geography and chemistry. I did a little bit of revision in maths and that was it. And the reason is because, you know, I was meant to give my life to my personal study, which wasn't actually personal. It was just reading the indoctrination literature and material to keep my mind enslaved to them. And I was, obviously you guys know how athletic I am. All right, obviously I feel a bit depleted right now, but you know, I got gains, you know what I'm saying? And obviously I was fast once upon a time. I was sprinting. Got very good genetics in respect to building muscle, running fast and jumping high. But I was told not to pursue those things. There was countless propaganda videos, material to tell me that I shouldn't pursue that. I was told that if I wasn't in Ba Sing Se, that I would die at the end of the world. So of course I was going to stay in Ba Sing Se. And my parents actually told me to not, well, my dad told me not to listen to them. But I was told that someone evil was talking through my dad and to not listen to my dad because my dad was a poison and he was going to die at the end of the world. And I would die if I wasn't in the daily and if I wasn't doing the recruitment stuff. And I'm actually really annoyed, you know. I'm like, damn, man, I was pimped, I was groomed and I was pimped, and there's no justice, you know. I still don't have freedom of speech. That's why I couldn't even explain it, right? Some of you guys will probably be able to read it. Basically, Ba Sing Se is a cult. I was in a cult, right? I was groomed into a cult. I started studying cult stuff when I was 6 or 7. And I became an unofficial cult member when I was 11. And I was baptized into the cult when I was 12. And I gave my life to this cult. And this cult tells you to not listen to outside information. It tells you to not, it tells you to recruit everyone who's not in the cult. You don't have any friends if they're not in the cult. So people who aren't in the cult aren't your friend. They're just potential cult members. You know, all your true friends who will stick with you through thick and thin are in the cult. You're not meant to pursue a higher career. Some people do, a higher education. Some people do, but you're not meant to. It's highly frowned upon, but some people do. But if you're quote unquote spiritual and you really take this stuff seriously and you really are applying yourself, then you wouldn't pursue a higher education. You also wouldn't focus on career, no matter how many career prospects you have. Why? Because you're meant to give your life to the cult, and you believe that what they're saying is true. You believe that God is really speaking through them. But the weird thing is, you're not allowed to know the dark side of this. And if you choose to leave the cult, all your friends and family who are in the cult are to ostracize you, not to talk to you. If you're over 18, they'll likely kick you out of the house, and treat you like you're dead. If you call them, they're meant to ignore. And yeah, and this is even, and you consented to this when you joined the cult. No matter how young you were when you consented, you have people as young as 8 years old consenting. I was 12, and I didn't even know this stuff. There's certain people I've held really close in my life that I've called like my second parents. They were the first people to actually groom me into this cult. They treat me like I'm dead now. They don't talk to me. I never even asked for them to be in my life. They're the ones who came into my life. They're the ones who groomed me into joining. And when I said, yeah, you know what? I still actually counted them as good people. And I said, look, I don't want no part of this, actually, this cult. I just don't want part of this organization. And they just shunned me. They just say, you know, well, cool. They didn't even say nothing. They actually just ignored me after that. They never spoke to me again. Countless friends that I believed were friends when I was a kid, you know, shun me. They don't talk to me. I'm very fortunate that I was essentially disobedient by still having friends that weren't in the cult. So I still have friends now, and thank you so much, guys, for just being in my life, because I've been given conditional friendship, and it's very difficult. So I'm actually kind of getting emotional speaking about it, because I'm pissed, man. I'm pissed because I was groomed, and my dreams were ripped from me. I was told to pursue their dreams, and then whatever. I can't even speak about it clear right now because I'm being sensitive. If I speak about it, probably my living situation will change. And yeah, that's all. Trust me, my mental space is gonna be getting better. Some of you guys might know which cult this is, by the way. You probably will know if you've been part of this cult, if you're affiliated, or if you can really read between the lines. If you do know, please, you can comment it. Preferably write, and then if they press more, then you can comment what it is. Otherwise, don't comment it, because I'm still kind of being controlled by it. I actually still have a meeting with some of the Daily potentially tomorrow or Saturday. I met with them last week. Yeah, it's just, whatever. But trust that I'm gonna be producing more content from here on out. We don't complain about things in life. We just move forward. Tough things happen in people's lives. I'm fortunate that this is there's a lot of people that go through way more stuff in life, and there's a lot of people that are part of this cult who actually wake up from this cult when they're like 40 years old, 50 years old. I woke up when I was 20, 19, 20. So I've been able to salvage some things. I dropped out of school when I was 17. Obviously got my GCSEs, but dropped out A-levels, and I've had to redo them. Paid £2,100 with an additional, I think, £2,500 for my exams. But you got to do what you got to do, So I've actually had to balance my education with working, of course, but also with my content, because initially I wasn't getting paid. And then fortunately, I am getting monetized now, so I've had to balance it with that, studying and just YouTube. And then I started my new business venture, which I'll go into in a video coming soon, which I've now had to balance time with training for that. But we move on, a lot of people move on. A lot of people are strong people. My father is one of the best examples for me to learn from, because this guy came from the dirt. He came from not having a lot in life, and he's just pushed through. So I'm gonna follow that example. But I just wanted to explain to you guys why I've not been here. I think this is a weird video. I feel like a lot of you guys might even judge me, but like, what the heck, this guy's a weird ass guy. But it's my life, So I'm gonna be dropping a lot more videos. I've recreated my training plans. Sorry, what am I saying? I recreated my training plans from before, like a newer version, new prices. So rather than being 4 weeks, they're 12 weeks, and rather than just being the training plan, it's the training plan with informational videos as well, because I've decided to make them a one-stop place where you guys can get as much information as possible when it comes to. Why am I still talking about work? Hey, let me just explain where I'm at. So that's all. I'm still kind of dealing with all this, but I trust I'll be in a healthier place one day in the future. I don't even know if I'll post this video. I'm gonna be real with you, because this is actually, it was a bit too open. It was actually a bit too open. I actually never thought I'd speak on this grand scale, that I've actually, dealing with suicidal thoughts and depression and whatever else. But it is what it is. If you want to unsubscribe. But I appreciate the love and support you lot have shown me, through this time. I'm gonna give you guys some fire ass content. I promise. I just had to get my mind right.